There is no reason for me to doubt his story, Kareem's story. It might very well be true, and it seems authentic that he did have this experience, that he did leave Islam, he did become an atheist, and he did eventually have these dreams, and then convert. The issue with dreams is that it's obviously a personal experience. It's anecdotal. Nobody can possibly fact check or verify it. The same thing with occurrences when something only appears to you. I mean, even if you said something came from the sky and appeared to me, like nobody else can verify that. It's just your personal experience.
Hey,
But
hey, pause that real quick before you continue, because I'm going to forget.
okay,
I'm gonna share something I never heard before. I never shared. I don't think I've ever shared it before. I don't think I even told Nabil, but I'll tell you. I'll say it now, just because you just said something about it. But it was when Nabil was telling me about his first dream. That was the one that was all symbolic, and it was like he's living on this mountain, and then he zooms out away from it, and he's actually the back of a giant iguana and so on. And he comes to think later, when he's interpreting it, he comes to think that this is Islam. And then he says a giant boy shows up. A giant boy shows up and like smushes the iguana and says, "I challenge you to a duel," and so on. And then the iguana turns and is about to eat Nabil, and then a cricket shows up from the boy and chops the iguana's head off, and so on. And so Nabil actually went to his books, because they take dreams seriously. And anyway, he interpreted this as he's living in Islam. So he's living on the back of this thing and not realizing that it's actually this thing that's there to destroy him. He interprets the giant boy as me showing up, because he's later told me, like, that's how I think of you. I think of you like this giant goofy boy. And then the cricket is Christ, who shows up and chops the head off of Islam. Anyway, when Nabil told me, he said, "Hey, I want to talk about this dream I had." I don't remember where we were, but it had outside seating and it was cold. And yet we're sitting out there in our jackets at the outside seating on like these metal picnic tables and so on. He tells me, he wants to tell me this dream. And but it was much longer when Nabil's telling it, because he's going into all these details. And all I'm thinking is, I don't know where he's going with this. He didn't tell me he's like interpreting this as like Christianity, Islam. So I'm not paying attention to what he's telling me, right? He's telling me the dream, and I'm just thinking, why the heck would I care about your dream? I do not care about your stupid dream. I'm not your, I don't want to read your dream journal. I don't want to hear your dream. I don't care. That's what he's talking about. And then he goes, and then he gets to the end and he starts talking about this cricket chopping the head off the thing and the boy and everything like this. And then he's like, "So what do you think?" And I'm like, wait, I wasn't paying attention to most of that. And so I had to like start asking him for clarification. So when you say the boy, what did you say about the boy? Like, because I wasn't paying attention. And then I find out he's like interpreting this as like the answer to a prayer where he's asking God to give him a dream and so on. And I'm like, uh-oh, I didn't pay attention to most of that. Anyway, I never told him that I wasn't paying attention. Like, that's why I had to keep asking him questions about what he said. But yeah. So anyway, but notice that that's like what you're saying. And in fact, even after he told me that he's interpreting this as he's part of Islam, but he finds out it's actually a monster that's there to destroy him, and Christ chops the head off of the monster. Even after he told me that, I was like, I'm thinking in my head, I don't care what you dream. That could be anything. Like if you told me you'd had a dream telling you to convert to Buddhism or something like that, it's like I don't take dreams all that seriously. The second one is something where there's some degree of outward confirmation, because he dreamed that he was in. Break that thing, AP. Break that thing. So it's going to cause trouble for all future generations.
You mentioned crickets. That's not my fault.
But his second dream, where he actually dreams himself in a parable, he's like, "How do you interpret this dream?" And I was like, that's a parable in the Bible that you just dreamt. And he's like, "You've never read that before," and so on. So that's where that got my attention, because now there's something that ties it to the rest of the world. But you're right. Especially someone who's studying like Christianity and Islam, or thinking about them, has a dream. It's like, the dream is telling me this. It's like, I mean, I had all kinds of dreams where I'm like killing zombies and stuff. I don't think it's like telling me to kill zombies, like something like that. But culturally, there are people who take that way seriously. And no, and Nabil asked me this, the role of dreams in Christianity. And so, okay, you do have people in the Bible being guided by dreams and having vision, dreams and visions telling them what to do and stuff. So I'm not gonna, I'm just telling you personally, if it's just a random dream, whatever it's telling you to, I wouldn't take this necessarily as evidence for something until there's some sort of confirmation of it. But yeah, that is it is biblical, dreams and visions and so on, telling people what to do. So I wouldn't discount that. But yeah, I'm like you. I'm like, how do I know that's not just in your head? That's the main thing. How do I know that's not just in your head? How do I know that that's something actually from God? Anyway, that was I wanted to share that just because I would probably never be in a situation where I would share that detail about me not paying attention when Nabil's telling me about things that got everything started. But go ahead, AP. Then you said, but, and I cut you off because I knew you were going to use some stupid sound effects. What?
I don't know what you just. I didn't pay attention at all to what you were saying.
You were saying dreams, but you said, but
Um,
I'm an atheist, so I don't believe in anything except incest.
but no, okay.
You gotta get a compilation of them saying incest for and put that on there. Your little soundboard.
So what? No. What I was going to say is, there is no way to verify whether a dream actually happened or not, or whether 3 dreams happened or not. The one issue that I have, if you want to become ultra skeptical, is that somebody can naturally have recurring dreams and actually interact with them and influence those dreams and even begin becoming lucid and aware and manipulate those dreams while you are dreaming. So it's not necessarily a very unnatural thing. I had some very wild dreams where that happened after spending several days without sleeping. With all of that said, there's there is no way why I would doubt his story, and I would not come out and say and deny that all of this stuff happened to him. I cannot deny that this is probably very impactful. If that happened to me, maybe I would be very driven and very moved toward going toward that belief as well. So it's I can completely accept it, and I'm not going to sit here and think, oh, it's just a dream. Haha, why would you take that seriously? Just a dream, man. And who knows if it actually happened or not? No, I cannot personally
go back to atheism where you could do anything.
I can personally not challenge that or deny anything at all. But that is the issue with personal experiences, right? That serves mostly as something to convince you. Now, if that happened to me, I'm not entirely sure if I would be convinced by that, or if I would think about it and later on think, you know what, a dream might just be a dream and not mean much at all. I would probably expect something different. That said, not even a dream happened to me. But in Muslim culture, I did have dreams when I asked for dreams in my Muslim life, and I took it seriously and I kind of acted upon those dreams. So in that culture it was relevant. So I understand how in his culture it's also relevant. There is even a prayer in Islam that is specifically prayed in order to ask Allah for a sign given in a dream. But yeah, I mean, it's just very conflicting. Can I discredit this guy's story and his conversion because of how it happened? Absolutely not. But can it be beneficial for others or to convince others? In my personal opinion, no. But again, that's where I am. Quite some difference here.
Yeah, couple thoughts on that stuff, the dreams, and again, we started this off. I had no familiarity with these with Kareem, and then people have filled in some details, and we've gone through his story, and I pointed out that my suspicion levels raised a bit just from some people making up stories in the past, but then I had no particular reason not to trust him. Some little things saying that he was told to do evangelism or something like that. Little. Hey, wait a minute. Why would he be told that, and so on. But we can understand that he's been a Christian for a while. He might just use that term now for the audience he's talking to. But yet, notice even in his stories about the dreams, if he were making that up, if he were making these stories up, you could do that very differently, right? You could say, hey, I had a dream of this thing, and then it happened, when this guy showed up, and then I had another dream saying this and telling me to go to this passage, and it told me to do this, and so on. There was plenty of room for embellishment there. He had a very simple story that's very similar to lots of other people. So, yeah, seems authentic to me. I'm kind of like UAP in that. Notice, can a dream come from God? Obviously, but how do we, the outsider, tell the difference between a dream that comes from God and a dream that's just you dreaming, or just a weird dream? A couple of things there, like Nabil's second dream, where he actually dream, like when he told me his dream, it's like that's exactly a parable out of the Bible, and he'd never read it. So there, it's connected to something outside. And I've heard from other people where, like a missionary shows up to a town, and a Muslim comes up to him and said, "Hey, I had a dream about you. I've never seen you before. I had a dream that you came to my village, and here you are. You just showed up. What's going on here?" So there, notice that's actually connected to something outside or verifiable. You can, I think, because there are so many stories like this where people in Muslim countries have some sort of vision of Jesus. I think it can have a kind of like cumulative case, like why is this so common that people are dreaming about Jesus in the Muslim world? So yeah, those are basically my thoughts on all this. But yeah, I definitely lean towards taking this as authentic. And Petrus here says, it seems there are more testimonies of people converting to Christianity on account of dreams, especially ex-Muslims, compared to other religions. Yeah. I don't hear.
I heard that much more often from Christians than from Muslims, for example.
Yeah, and I'm sure there are dreams going in every direction and stuff, but yes, it does seem very common that lots of times when you hear someone, especially from a Muslim area, becomes a Christian, very common to hear about dreams, some sort of dream or some sort of vision. And when you hear about someone converting to Islam, it's normally, oh, the Trinity was so confusing to me, and then I found out that the Quran's been perfectly preserved. The Quran has all these scientific miracles, so I converted to Islam without bothering to investigate anything. It's usually, and then
I studied, but before I did that, I studied all of the religions, all of them.
It took me 2 weeks to study all the religions.